who still found joy in sparkly dresses and coloring books. "Catherine, do you have a little girl?" Rosie asked over dessert. "No, sweetheart, I don't." "Do you want one?" "Rosie!" Allison said, mortified. "That's not a polite question." "It's okay," Catherine said quickly. "And yes, Rosie, I do want children someday. I always have. I just haven't met the right person to have them with yet." "You could have them with Mommy," Rosie suggested with the simple logic of a 4-year-old. "You're both really nice and you both wear pretty dresses. You could be mommies together." Both women laughed, though Catherine noticed Allison blushing. "It doesn't quite work that way, sweetie," Catherine said gently. "Why not?" Rosie persisted. "Mia at my preschool has 2 mommies. They're both girls and they're married and everything." "That's true," Allison said carefully. "But Catherine and I just met. Marriage takes time and getting to know each other. But you like her, right, Mommy? I can tell. You're smiling more than you have in forever." Allison looked at Catherine, and there was something in that look, acknowledgement of connection, of possibility, of 2 lonely people finding unexpected comfort in each other. "I do like her, Rosie. Catherine's been wonderful company." "I like you both, too," Catherine said, meaning it completely. "This has been the best Christmas Eve I've had in years." After dinner, they stood outside the restaurant in the cold December air, none of them quite ready to say goodbye. Rosie had fallen asleep in Allison's arms, exhausted from the evening's excitement and full belly. "Thank you," Allison said quietly, "for sitting with us, for listening, for making this night bearable. I was dreading it so much, and you turned it into something actually nice." "Thank you," Catherine replied, "for letting me join you, for sharing your daughter and your stories, for reminding me that loneliness is temporary and that connections can happen in the most unexpected moments." They exchanged phone numbers, promising to stay in touch, though both were clearly wondering if they actually would, or if this was just a beautiful, temporary thing, 2 ships passing in the night of their shared grief and loneliness. But 3 days later, Catherine's phone rang. It was Allison. "Hi," Allison said, sounding nervous. "I hope this isn't weird, but Rosie has asked about you every single day since Christmas Eve. She wants to know when she can see her matching dress friend again. And honestly, I'd like to see you too. Would you maybe want to get coffee sometime? Or if that's too much, like a date, and that's not what you want, we could just—" "I'd love to," Catherine interrupted. "Coffee sounds perfect. And Allison? I'd like it to be a date, if that's okay with you." There was silence on the other end. Then Allison's voice, warm with relief and hope. "Really? You'd want that? Even though I have a kid and baggage and I'm still kind of a mess?" "I'd want that especially because of those things," Catherine said. "You're not a mess, Allison. You're someone who's been through something terrible and is still showing up. Still trying, still loving your daughter through it all. That's not mess. That's courage. And I'd very much like to get to know you better." Their first official date was coffee, which turned into a walk in the park, which turned into 4 hours of conversation that felt like catching up with an old friend rather than getting to know someone new. Rosie came along, of course, and Catherine found she didn't mind at all. The little girl held both their hands as they walked, chattering about everything and nothing, occasionally announcing that they were the 3 prettiest girls in the whole park. More dates followed. Dinner without Rosie so they could talk about grown-up things, their hopes and fears, their past relationships, the ways they'd been shaped by loss and loneliness. Movies with Rosie, where they shared popcorn and Catherine learned all the words to Frozen by the 3rd viewing. Museum trips and playground visits and quiet evenings at Allison's house where they cooked dinner while Rosie colored at the kitchen table. Catherine met Allison's parents, who were cautiously optimistic about their daughter dating again, especially dating a woman. "We just want her to be happy," Allison's mother said. "If you make her happy, then you're welcome in this family." Allison met Catherine's parents, who were surprised, but ultimately supportive, when they saw how Catherine lit up around Allison and Rosie. "You seem different," Catherine's father observed. "More settled. More content." "I am," Catherine admitted. "I didn't know how much I needed them until I found them." 6 months into their relationship, Catherine broached a difficult topic over dinner at her apartment. Rosie was at a sleepover, giving them rare time completely alone. "I've been thinking," Catherine started carefully, "about us, about the future. I know it's relatively early, but I'm not getting any younger, and I need to know if we're on the same page about some things. Allison set down her wine glass, giving Catherine her full attention. Okay, what things? Children, Catherine said. I know you have Rosie and she's wonderful, but I've always wanted to experience pregnancy, wanted to have a baby. I know that's complicated given our situation. It's not complicated, Allison interrupted. I mean, logistically, yes, but emotionally. Catherine, I'd love to have another child. I always wanted Rosie to have siblings. But after David died, I thought that dream was over. If you want to have a baby, I'd support that completely. We could use a donor, figure out the logistics. If that's what you want, I'm in. Relief flooded through Catherine. Really? You'd want that? I'd want anything that makes you happy, Allison said simply. You've brought so much joy into our lives, both mine and Rosie's. If having a baby is what you need, then we'll make it happen. What about your business? Your career? Having an infant is hard, I know. But Catherine, we'd figure it out together. That's what partners do. You supported me through that difficult project last month. I'll support you through pregnancy and newborn stages and all of it. We're a team now. Catherine felt tears sliding down her cheeks. How did I get so lucky? To be stood up on a blind date and end up finding you? I think we both got lucky, Allison said, reaching across the table to take Catherine's hand. Actually, we need to thank Brett. If he hadn't been a coward, you wouldn't have been crying alone. Rosie wouldn't have gone over to you. We might have been two lonely people in the same restaurant who never connected. Should we send him a thank you card? Catherine joked. Let's not go that far. 1 year after that Christmas Eve dinner, Catherine and Allison were married in a small ceremony at the same restaurant, where they'd met. Rosie served as the flower girl, wearing a sparkly red dress that matched the ones both her mothers wore. The restaurant owners had decorated beautifully, and the same Christmas tree that had witnessed. Catherine's tears now witnessed her joy. I can't believe we're getting married where you were stood up. Catherine's friend whispered before the ceremony. Isn't that weird? It's perfect, Catherine replied. This is where my life changed. This is where I found my family. Why wouldn't we celebrate that here? During the ceremony, Catherine and Allison each wrote letters to Rosie, promising to love and care for her, to honor the memory of David while building a new family together. Rosie, at 5 years old, took it all very seriously, nodding solemnly as they read their promises. I now have 2 mommies, she announced proudly to anyone who would listen at the reception. Just like I told them to do when I met Catherine. I knew they should be together. She's taking full credit, Allison said to Catherine as they danced their first dance. Let her, Catherine replied. She's right. She did know. Children see things we adults miss sometimes. We were both so lost in our grief and loneliness that we couldn't see the possibility right in front of us. Rosie saw it immediately. 2 years later, Catherine gave birth to twin girls, Emma and Grace. The pregnancy had been carefully planned, the donor thoughtfully chosen, and the entire experience shared between both mothers. Allison was in the delivery room, cutting the umbilical cords, crying as hard as Catherine as they met their daughters for the first time. Rosie, now 7, was the best big sister imaginable. She helped with feedings and diaper changes, sang lullabies she remembered from when she was little, and took her role as protector very seriously. I need to teach them everything, Rosie explained to her kindergarten teacher, because Mommy Allison taught me, but Mommy Catherine doesn't know all the baby stuff yet. So I'm the expert. On Christmas Eve, 3 years after that fateful dinner, the family of 5 returned to the restaurant. The owners had kept their tradition of decorating the same way, and Catherine and Allison requested the exact table where they'd first met. This feels full circle, Allison said, looking around at their daughters, Rosie entertaining the twins, all 3 girls wearing coordinating red dresses. It feels like the beginning of something that never ends, Catherine replied. Not an ending, but a continuing story. Mommy Catherine was crying at this table, Rosie told her little sister seriously. She was very sad because a mean man left her alone. But I came over and we matched, and then Mommy Allison came, and now we're a family. That's why this table is special. That's exactly right, Catherine said, pulling Rosie close. This is our table. This is where our story started.